Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Women Making Herstory series. I am your host today, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network. And my, what an amazing journey and experience this has been for all of us, getting to meet these 31 extraordinary visionary women who are at the forefront of their field, stepping up, stepping out, and paving the way so that each and every one of us lives our best and most extraordinary life. And today's guest, one of the things I love about today's guest is she takes a subject matter that is often can feel a little dry, and she gives it life, entertainment, fun, jokes, meaning, and prosperity. So I am so excited that you're here today. Debra Morrison, welcome, welcome.
Thanks, Nancy. So great to be with you.
It's my pleasure to be featuring you today. What a great way to wrap up this series. So for our audience, let me tell you a little bit about Debra's background, and then we're going to get into today's conversation. So Debra is a certified financial planner, an international motivational speaker, author, certified grief coach, and has authored 3 books. Ms. Morrison's Dictionary of Useful Financial Investment Terms, Common Sense Money Guide for Women, and My Husband Died, Now What? A Widow's Guide to Grief Recovery and Smart Financial Decisions. She's also a certified grief coach and an international motivational speaker, and most recently, a TEDx speaker. Debra is driven by the desire to share financial nuggets that help women feel empowered about their finances and their lives, regardless of circumstances. She says, and you'll hear this in a moment, that she's passionate about connecting, learning, and teaching. I'm so grateful that you made time for us. You have been so busy, flying all over, making an impact. So thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
So what I'd like to start with is in the field of financial services, I would say today there are definitely more women in the field than there were. And I know you've got decades of experience. So what was it like for you coming into the field of financial services, and why'd you pick that?
Well, it was really about choosing a career that involved relationship with people. And I knew I was a great people person, and I wasn't afraid of sales. And yet I just didn't want to sell something that once a person bought it once, they didn't need to see you again, because I was so interested in developing and maintaining that relationship and getting it deepened. And such that I wanted to be involved in sales of something that continued to require, and I was able to continue to purvey knowledge and learning. And I chose financial services. I wanted to do investments, but they weren't going to have a woman be trained in investments in 1978. So that.
Oh, really?
Back. Yes, exactly. I wanted to learn investments, and I went to John Hancock, as a matter of fact, and they said, we're not gonna start you in investments. Why don't you sell life insurance first? And I said, it's like raised on a farm. I mean, I knew I knew the word, but I was like, explain life insurance. And when I understood the product, I thought, wow, this can save families, businesses, and so forth. And so I started selling life insurance. And as a 21-year-old, I had a briefcase and a towel to wipe the wet behind my ears. And I led the agency in sales for 2 years, and then I went to the corner offices, and I said, boys, now I want to learn investments. And so then I did.
So please, she said it kind of quickly, but notice at 21 years old, she went out, she led the agency for 2 years in sales. And so when you came to them, what happened then?
Well, I actually was put into a management position kind of fast. And there was a 68-year-old, very tall, very handsome, coiffed hair, retired Navy colonel who was my office mate. And so I was to train him, and I did. And we went out on joint calls to businesses asking them if they'd like us to review their health insurance. And we'd trade off and on as to who would speak and who would just stand there and listen. And on the times I spoke, I would ask the business owner, so what are you doing with your health insurance? And the business owner would promptly speak to Bill. And I was like, okay, and so how about that? And he would promptly answer Bill. Wow. And I said to Bill, I said, they're always going to answer to you. And he's like, no, they're not going to. And so it was like 3 appointments later, he's like, they are.
Yeah. So so I'm going to ask this question. How has it changed since those early days?
Well, Thankfully, a lot of women have been welcomed into the business. And when people have realized, especially in the relationship business, like life insurance selling, you do relate more than a stockbroker. And then, of course, fee planning is completely relational. And now people have realized that women really get good results because of this stickiness of women's clients. And so there's a financial reason for financial institutions at large to invite women into the profession. But many a year, I was the only woman at a national convention. National.
Wow. Wow. And now, so that's improving. I want to switch sides of the equation. So thank you for sharing a little bit about your background. And let's talk in general. There is a pervasive belief and perhaps truth to the fact that women don't pay as close attention to investments, long-term things as men do. So would you say that's a truth, first of all?
Partially. I think women don't tend to address the area of finance because the whole topic seems to be something that's cordoned off here, away from our hardwired common sense. And women kind of almost like go into this defeatist mode, like, oh, don't talk about that. I can manage my family, my budget, money. Well, I can. So there's this automatic, if you will, expulsion of even the topic. So I think men are attuned. Yet men are attuned, Nancy, to transactions. And I'm not interested in getting women's interest piqued about transactions. I really want to start with thinking through what it is we're attempting to do. Because when you think of money as a tool, you really then are invited to think about what the tool will build, right? Think of a carpenter. They have a belt, right, with tools in it. Mm-hmm. Well, they're not going to the grocery store with that. They're going to a work site to what? Build a house. So I want to get women into, what is the house I'm building? What is the house and the retirement and the future of my dreams? Is it educating my kids? Is it buying a second home, getting a boat, whatever it is? And once we have that, we can reverse engineer it back to the simplicity of investing.
You know, I so love this, the way that you approach this, because it goes back to vision. So what is your future vision for your life? Money is a tool so that you can have that. Now we just look at creating the money. And well beyond the days where you just sold life insurance, you provide a more expansive approach to how do we use money as a tool for your dreams. Can you speak to the variety or the diversity that you do when you work with your clients?
Yes, my master's is in retirement planning, so we really specialize in that, and we take kind of people within 5-ish, 10 years of retirement and position them, because like to call us right before retirement is maybe we've missed some opportunities. So we like to foster that activity and these strategies because we're dovetailing, Nancy, taxes with investing, and that is something that's lost on a lot of people, and they don't have enough background to integrate them effectively, but we do that. And so we'll make an investment decision that incidentally will give you really beautiful tax effects and enable you to make a charitable contribution you didn't think you could afford. So it's beautiful in what we can create if we simply know what the trajectory is. What lights you up? Let's get to what lights you up. And when I know, yes, you're really passionate about this charity, then we can figure out how to dovetail the investments with that.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So one of your talks, and we know each other pretty well, one of your talks is called Feel the Financial Fear and Do It Anyway. Can you give us a little sneak peek? And I want to let all our viewers know, look for Debra's TEDx talk on this exact subject. She was amazing. But give us a little tidbit of what we'll learn from that talk, as well as in working with you.
Well, thanks. And I took a great deal from Dr. Susan Jeffers, and she was a dear friend of mine. She's died, and she wrote the New York Times bestseller, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And she gave us a pain power continuum, which gives us a framework for how we can use and move through our fear. And I have adopted it and completely embraced that methodology, that we can move ourselves into positions of inner power, right? Not power over, not the abusive stuff, inner power. And that's what I want to call women into, is our inner strength. Look inward and see, what is it that you're passionate about? And then let's have the money mirror that. right? And money buying choices is completely profound. I mean, when I sold life insurance, I basically said, all right, the husband, you're earning $100,000 a year. If you died yesterday, how many years do you want to buy your wife? I mean, that was how simple it was. 3 years, 300,000.
Wow.
You have a mortgage, add another 200,000. Because I have seen too many people, be the survivor of an untimely death and have to move in with the in-laws, right? So money in that realm bought choices, and money in the retirement realm buys choices. Oh, we'll be able to actually enjoy all this time off, right? We'll be able to travel, right? Not just between here and the grocery store. We'll be able to see our grandson's first baseball game live. We'll fly in as a surprise. We'll see our granddaughter's dance recital live. We'll surprise her, not just on Zoom and Skype. And that's what gets people lit up. And now we can kind of access something that I think got kind of beaten out of us in 2008, 2009. We just kind of like humdrum. And we're just wanting to say, hey, come on, come back. Come back to your peace. Come back to your strength. Come back to the energy within and allow me to match the energy of money to help you live a completely empowered retirement or whatever else your goal lines suggest.
Because it may not be retirement.
Absolutely not.
I love that. All right.
We may work forever, Nancy, but we're going to have fun doing it.
Bingo. You said it. You said it. That's what I'm all about, mixing all that stuff together. And I know most of our community is.
Yes.
All right. So I'm asking everyone in the series, who is a woman in history that had a big impact in your life or influenced you?
Well, Muriel Siebert, of course, was the first woman to have a seat on the New York Stock Exchange. And the trials that she went through to get that and had to lie about her age and everything else, it was incredible. She was so disparaged, and she just doggedly went after it and got it. And I just honor her with all my heart and mind. She totally opened the door for women to be respected at the international financial level, basically. Yes, it was the New York Stock Exchange, but trust me, there was an international ripple. And she completely busted through what other people had not been able to break through. So I honor Muriel Siebert.
Awesome. And you carry on her work in many ways, as well as that of Dr. Susan Jeffers. Awesome. All right. So thank you. This, like I said, this is just the beginning of our conversations together. Be sure to check out her TEDx talk, and time permitting, I'll try to put the link here for that as well, if we have it in time, because it was just recently done. And having this conversation about being empowered, which is our power within ourselves, about money, about finance, about retirement, how to really use this amazing tool of money. Right. We must continue the conversation, and I know you have a great tool for us to use to take it to the next step. So click the button below, and what you'll get from Debra is...
Well, it's a little synopsis, and it's called Pursuing a Better Investment Experience. And just based upon, I know that women like to be educated, and this is a really good educational piece. And we just give you 10 focus points for you to address. And just, I would say, go through them and just star what doesn't make sense to you or what you might need some additional coaching on. And I'd be happy to provide that. So ultimately, it's kind of a synthesizing look for a couple of pages, really succinct, to what could in fact and what may have derailed you before. And what we like to say is, until recently I was derailed by number 6, and now I'm not, because I'm feeling the fear and feeling the financial fear, and I'm doing it anyway. And that's what I'm passionate about, is let's move through that fear. As soon as those little doubts become conscious, I want us to recognize them, not stuff them back down. Let them bubble up, recognize it, and say, when I can recognize it, I can manage it. And let's manage through those previously held fears, very unfounded in reality, towards our own inner peace and our own inner fulfillment. And that's what I want us to start to spend some time noodling on, even as you're driving, even as you're waiting for something and you have 2 minutes. Noodle on what it is. Like, people say, if I won the lottery, oh, I would do this. And just their face lights up like, oh, if I won the lottery, oh, I would do this and this and this. And very seldom would the things they would do not be possible if we simply engaged and strategized a plan to get it. See? Yeah. But people kind of think, oh, well, in La La Land, oh, that would be exciting. I want to bring us down back here in today's land. What would ignite you? And let's work to make that happen.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Debra, for being with us today and in sharing your wisdom, your wit, and your beautiful spirit and commitment.
Thanks, Nancy. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Awesome. Love it. All right. So viewers, I trust that you are enjoying this series. If you didn't catch all of them yet, you can go back and check out the other ones. They're all on YouTube and your email. We have done our best to give those to you. Look forward to more from Women's Prosperity Network as we come together as women making herstory. So go ahead, click on that link for the gift from Debra. And just in case there's a chance you haven't said, I want to be a part of this movement, click that other button there because we need you. We need your voice. Have a beautiful day, everyone. And thanks again, Debra. I appreciate you bunches.
Thanks, Nancy.